Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Now Let's Review, and we're going to be reviewing the Engwe LE20 next.
All right, so cargo e-bike under 1,500 bucks.
Yeah, also torque sensing.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
You're crazy. Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
Kind of all the things I wanted in a cargo / kid carrying bike, and at a really good price. So let's get into it. So what's cool about this bike, Jesse, I think you already know this, you can put a second battery right here, and so you can double your range.
So there's a battery here, and yeah, we didn't get one with 2 batteries, but there is a spot for it right in the back, so that's sweet.
Yeah, and the screen tells you what the energy drain is on both batteries, so you can keep up with what's going on.
That's really cool.
The thing I don't like is that the manufacturer says that with one battery you can get 109 miles of range, and there's just no way that you could do that.
We were testing it out, and we were riding along, and if it did truly get 109 miles of range, then you should go a mile before the percentage drops 1%, exactly. And that is not what we saw.
Now, I get it. It does say that you have to weigh less than 75 kilograms and use pedal assist level 1 or less. But yeah, there's no way. This thing is too heavy. There's not enough. I mean, there's 921 watt hours in the battery. It's just not possible. So don't buy it thinking that's going to happen.
But with that all being said, I do think that you can probably get 40 miles of range.
Oh, probably more. I would think if you're actually doing that, like if you weigh less and you have pedal assist 1, I think you probably get 60 miles of range.
But I mean, if you throw in a bunch of hills, a couple of kids, or some heavy duty stuff that you're carting around,
or
and
fast speeds,
a lot of acceleration or fast speeds, you know, come down to maybe the 30s, 40s, maybe 20s if you're absolutely insane. I mean, 109 is not gonna happen unless you happen to live in a world where everything is downhill.
But I will say, being able to put a second battery on here, if range is an issue for you, so that's over 100 miles of range,
right.
Easy. I mean, they say it's 209 or something, but that won't happen. Now look, I think there's 2 big use cases for this, Jesse. One would be if you are doing Uber Eats or delivering stuff. And I think in a city, you could go all day long, probably multiple days, with the one battery, and then if you needed more, a second. The other cool thing is if you're doing that job and you want to be able to charge up fast, you can buy this 8 amp fast charger so that you can get those batteries back up to full really quick.
The bike that you're seeing in this current configuration right now is only one of the many different ways that you can get this bike. So right now we have it with basically the rear, I wouldn't even say it's a passenger kit, it's just the cushion, but you can get it with basically a kid cage, not a cage.
Inside my little ears!
It's more of like a safety bars on the side.
I love it because, yeah, you get the bars on the side. You also get, if you want to, you can get the footrests, which would make it almost impossible for your kids to get hurt because look at these.
Yeah.
They can't touch any of the bad parts of the bike.
I think that, honestly, these plexiglass covers give the bike such an interesting look. And yeah, they protect your passenger's feet from the chain and the wheels and the spokes and all the things that normally would hurt somebody. That's all protected. Really nice design. We've tested out a couple of different cargo e-bikes, and I've loved every single one of them because putting 1 or 2 children on the back of an e-bike is insanely fun.
Well, that's the second use case, which is if you're a family who has young kids and you want to be able to go out e-biking, it's almost impossible.
You also have this right here, which you can attach a front basket to. So this is very much an SUV style e-bike. Where you can carry multiple people and lots of different cargo as well. They also have a bag which sits in the kid carrier thing, so you could use the kid carrier as a bag and then take the bag off and put the kids in. So really a lot of flexibility with this e-bike. I love it.
They even have a little bag you can put in here to like store little stuff if you want that too. So there's so many options. We're not going to go through all of them, but go to their website, check it out. Let's talk about price, because normally I would have thought this would be a $2,000 or more bike.
Well, it's torque sensing. That normally means we're talking for just a regular old e-bike at least $1,800, especially for the size battery that we're talking about. We're talking about easily $2,000, and yet this bike does not cost that much.
Yeah, so even at their MSRP $1,499, which nobody pays, that would be a good deal. But right now, at least, they're selling it for $1,249 for this configuration without any of the extra add-ons.
And that's for their Black Friday sale right now, which whenever you're seeing this may or may not be the case. But let's just talk about their MSRP price, which nobody's gonna pay, $1,500. Fantastic price for this. I'd be happy to pay full price, but now we're getting it for $1249. That's insane.
Yeah, when I saw that price and I saw torque sensing, I thought they were lying. So I went out for a ride and I was like, oh my God, it does have torque sensing.
Yes.
Now, to explain torque sensing, for those who don't know, cadence sensing is the cheaper version, which means you pedal and it starts to just go on, and then you're kind of pushed forward. Okay, but torque sensing means that you feel like Superman. You feel like, oh, the more I pedal, the faster I go, like you're normal, except that you're just adding all of this, 950 watts of power. So it feels just totally natural, like you are just the most built person.
Let's talk about the motor. This has a 750 watt motor. They claim that it peaks out at 1300 watts.
It feels like an actual legit 750 watt motor. So
Yeah.
like it has a lot of power.
It feels very powerful. We were able to take this up hills, no problem.
I tested it on hills a bunch of times. I've never felt a bike with 750 give me this kind of power, especially a bike this big.
It felt comfortable going up the hill at
Yeah,
750.
I could go up at any PAS. So like, pedal assist 1 or 2, no problem. I even went up in gear 7, no problem.
Yes, so that is a huge plus. They definitely nailed it with the motor. The torque sensing is fine. Our bikes with better torque sensing, I would say, but most of those are going to cost more than twice what this bike costs, and they're not going to have half the features. Hydraulic brakes.
Yeah.
180 millimeter hydraulic brakes, dual disc hydraulic brakes.
Yeah, I mean, look at our braking here. Like,
For less than $1,300 at our current pricing, hydraulic brakes, torque sensing, big battery, and this is just really good.
yeah. I really like that it's got the 20-inch wheels, but they're 3-inch fat tire instead of 4. And for what you're going to be using this bike for, you're not going to be off-roading on it, hopefully. These are the perfect tires. They saved a little bit of weight and a little bit of size, so you don't look so weird. And it fits in better, and it is styled nicer.
Yeah, it's less of that motorcycle look. The tires themselves aren't as knobby. They're much more
Road tire.
roadish street tire. Honestly, I think you're gonna like better most of the time, unless you're
They're quieter.
riding on gravel. Yeah, they're much quieter, and that gives it a much more friendly appearance. Now, the motor you can hear, and I think having these large plexiglass resonant things probably makes it a little bit louder, but I don't think anyone's gonna mind. It's not loud.
If you have kids on the back who are making noise.
Right,
anyway.
it's gonna make a bit of some gear whirring noises, but it's not a big deal.
So then I thought, well, they're gonna limit the speed then. But they didn't, which is really nice. So with just the twist throttle, you can go up to 20 miles an hour. And if you want to pedal, which you should, you can go up to 28 miles an hour, which is great. And you can do that in any of the pedal assist levels, 1 through 5. So just put in more power and you get the speed going.
You have a Shimano 7-speed. We've seen a billion of these. The nice thing about them is that they're pretty reliable. They're very ubiquitous, so
Yeah,
if you
does
needed
its
to get a
job.
replacement, you could. The shifting was fine. You get all 7 gears. That's really nice.
It comes in 2 colors, the gray that we have it here, and also the blue, which I actually think is a great color too. Really nice color choices. The only bad thing is they seem to be so popular that a bunch of different configurations are sold out at many different times. So if you see something you like and it's in stock, you might want to grab it. So let's talk about that little LCD screen. It's really cute. It's very bright.
Nice and clear to read.
Yeah.
The only problem is a really weird thing. When you're not either giving some throttle or pedaling, it will read speed 0.
Yeah.
0 miles an hour, even if you're coasting. So basically, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the motor or the controller, whenever you're not actively putting in power, it will read that you're going 0 miles an hour. So
And even on some of my test rides, I was getting 0 miles an hour no matter what I did.
yeah.
I had to reboot to get it to work.
So that was a little bit weird.
Little disconcerting.
So I don't think that you need to be too worried, but like if you're going down a hill, it is kind of nice to know how fast you're going. If you're like, I'm going 35, I should slow down. That is typically pretty nice on e-bikes, although some e-bikes like limit themselves up to 32 and then they don't tell you how much faster you're going beyond that. So it's not out of the realm of normality to have a screen that isn't going to tell you all of the information. The only problem is I think that means that your range numbers or how far you have traveled is probably going to be inaccurate.
Yeah, you were trying to get the range feature working on the screen. So let me just talk about what the screen tells you. So it tells you the battery level of both batteries, as we talked about. You get the speed, the trip, the time, the power assist level, and then the power in watts, which I like a lot, and then the range, but you couldn't get the range working.
Yeah, I rode it for probably about 2 or 3 miles, so it wasn't like a distance thing. I don't know if it's going to kick on after you've ridden it for a long time and it kind of knows roughly how you ride.
I think it might have something to do with our particular bike. I think it's just why we're not getting miles per hour sometimes. It's just not sensing something. So That is something to be a little worried about, is that our bike was having that problem. I'm hoping it was just something to do with ours.
But it's really, at this price, I could cut that part off. I don't need it. It's this bike is great. I mean, I have gripes. Let's be honest, I have gripes.
All right, well, what are some of your cons?
The welding, the welds here are a little ugly.
Yeah, it's so pretty up here, and then
Yeah.
you look down here and you see the welds. And it literally would have taken them an extra 10 minutes to just buff them.
As a welder, these welds are fine, but they're big and you can see them. The bike costs not that much money, so I'll take it. This folding handlebar, cool, very cool that you get a handlebar that folds down. Means that in the garage, this makes it a little bit easier to pack away. There's no other thing that folds up, just the handlebar. But I don't really love this style of handlebar. It's not my favorite.
Well, because it feels a little bit far away from you in the seat.
Right, but it's height adjustable.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which is cool. And the bike doesn't cost that much money. So I don't care for what you're getting in functionality.
Oh, also the fact that you're getting the fenders. Oh, and the front suspension.
Yeah, so, there's a couple of details that aren't like high premium quality, but this is such a good value e-bike.
I guess my con would be, do you need to have the key in it to ride it?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay, then I take away my con.
So this is just to unlock the front battery.
Okay.
And honestly, of battery unlocks, this one's pretty good.
And then there's a separate key for this battery?
I think that there would be a separate key for that battery.
Gotcha, okay.
Now, do I like keys on e-bikes? No, but this bike doesn't cost that much money. I just can't get over the price. It's so good for what you're getting.
Seat is a middle of the road seat, but it does have some suspension in it, which is nice.
Yeah, it's actually on the more comfortable side, which I think is perfect for this style of e-bike. Look, you're never gonna be able to make everybody happy with whatever seat you put on a bike.
And you can change a seat.
Because either it's gonna be too athletic or it's gonna be too cushy. This is a great middle of the road, and you can change it to whatever you like.
Yeah, it's a quick set, so you can put it up and down easily. I do like that this is double protected. Your chain guard over on this side. A lot of bikes don't do that, so this is just nice. One less thing you have to worry about.
Another thing that I like, I've tested a lot of e-bikes, especially longer wheelbase ones like this. They put a little tensioner here, so it keeps the slack out of the chain. We've ridden some e-bikes with very similar length chains. You go over a bump and you hear the chain hit the ground. So this tensioner keeps that from happening. I love that.
Yeah.
Great little touch that wasn't a lot of money for them, but they did it anyway. Last gripe, the kickstand. It's a nice center kickstand, which means that when you're loading groceries or stuff like that, the whole bike isn't tilted over.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That's great. Only problem is it doesn't fold up very high. So if you're taking really tight turns or if you're going over bumps, it could hit something and that might throw you off balance. Something to think about, but if you're riding on mainly roads, I think you're gonna be absolutely fine.
So there's a 6 to 8 hour charging time. The only downside of that would be if you're taking it to work or something, because there's, it takes so long, just be aware of that.
But with the range being so big, I don't think it's ever going to be an issue as long as you're staying on top of your charging. Some other great features, the headlight and tail light. Headlight's not really anything to write home about. Having a headlight is really nice on an e-bike, especially one that you can turn on and off manually. The tail light's really nice. It lights up when you brake. Also, when the headlight's on, it acts as a running light. So the rear light will stay lit, and then when you squeeze the brakes, it gets brighter. Really, really great feature. Also, you have a blinker on the back as well.
Yeah.
Is the blinker gonna tell everyone what's going on and everyone's gonna understand it? No, it's a little small, it's a little hard to see. There's not much you can do with an e-bike, let's be honest.
Yeah,
so
still use your hands.
keep doing the hand signals, but you can also have the blinker as well.
Yeah, overall, I'm just really pleased with this bike. I had really low expectations when it came, and now I'm really a big fan.
I am utterly blown away by this bike. Do not let the look deter you. Unless you care so much about looks that you're not gonna take your kid on an e-bike ride.
I think the only thing that gives it away is the handlebars. If they had gone with a more stylish handlebar, maybe a little more swept back, this all fits really nicely.
And I honestly think that all of this is upgradable. I know that it would take a bit of work to either get a different handlebar up here or maybe even one that comes sweeping up the side. But if you did that, no one would think twice about this being an e-bike that costs easily 2 or 3 times as much money.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by this thing. If you have kids who look like they would fit here, please get them this or you get yourself this and go for a ride with them. It would be so fun.
Yeah, I mean, the weight limit is right here, so just make sure that you add up everything you're going to be putting on it, including maybe the dog up front, and make sure that you're under the weight limit, and then you're good to go.
But yeah, the upgradability of being able to get a second battery,
Yeah.
all the accessories that you can do. You get a child seat, like not just a kid seat, but like a baby
for a
seat.
bit, yeah.
So if you're a young parent,
This will be good for years to come.
this will be good for years and years to come. I'm so excited that this thing exists.
It could turn a 2-car family into maybe a 1-car plus bike family.
It's true. Or a 1.5 car. Or you have that car that's kind of on its last legs and you're like, man, any mile that I could take away from that car could make the difference. And this whole bike is cheaper than a transmission replacement.
Right. I mean, I would just say if you could get along with 1 car and 1 bike, the amount you're going to save in gas, maintenance, and insurance and all that
is going to
be
pay for
huge.
itself.
Yeah.
And
plus, you're going to be like really buff after a month. So
that's true. Yeah, depending on your level of pedal assist.
this is a really fun family bike.
Yeah, so hope you consider it because, look, I'm being honest. I really like it. We don't always say that we really like bikes. That's why I put it at the end of the video. I do really like this. For the price, I'm just blown away by it. You should consider it. And if you do get it, let us know in the comments. It'll be really fun if you go on a fun e-bike adventure.